Hello my friends, I'm Brett Larkin. Welcome back to our Detox Yoga Fusion Challenge. Today we're opening with a little bit of Kundalini, doing a very therapeutic Vinyasa sequence focused on strengthening your low back and ending with a crazy, juicy, restorative Yin posture. If you've been joining for all the days of the challenge, you know that we have an affirmation for each day. And today's affirmation is grace wins the race. What does that mean? It basically means that when we are graceful and slow down and take time to do the things that are really needed, maybe like strengthen our low back or just zip our lip or kind of take the long point of view, that ultimately we end up winning in the long term, in the long run. And you can get all our favorite affirmations in the new uplifted yoga journal planner designed for yogis by yogis. And all the details on how to get that are in the link below this video. To begin, we'll just do a little Kundalini warm-up. So come to stand, have the feet a bit wider than hip width apart. You may have done this with me before in this challenge. Arms out, thumbs back, fingertips in front of the shoulders. Little micro bend in the knees, and then take a moment here to really lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. And what we'll do is we're going to inhale to the left, so make sure you're going towards your left, and exhale right. So it's an inhale to the left through the nose and a sharp staccato exhale to the right through the nose. A couple little refinements here for today's focus. I want you to think of doing this with the twist really happening in the rib cage and above. So your lower back is trying to stay neutral this whole exercise. So your tailbone's really lengthening down towards your heels, and it's kind of like you want to think of just anchoring this lower part of the body, and how much can this lower part of the body and the low back stay still as we twist just in the upper body, yeah? So let's try it. Feet hip width apart and parallel, look down, make sure that's happening, and then inhale to your left, so it'll be other way as me. Exhale right through the nose. Make sure the knees are not locked out. You have a nice gentle micro bend in the knees. Keep lengthening that tailbone like an anchor down towards the ground. Notice if your elbows are started to droop, really think of a broomstick along your shoulders, emanating out through each elbow. Close the eyes, and you can always roll your gaze up and in towards your third eye center, that space just between and above the eyebrows here. Last 30 seconds. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale at center, just drop the arms, take a deep breath in and out. And once more, deep breath in and out. Come to stand at the top of your mat. Feet are hip width apart again, pointing forward with all 10 toes really looked at those feet are parallel. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, bend the knees generously. Inhale, half lift, get long. Exhale, step back to a plank pose and hold. Feel your inner thighs lift and magnetize towards one another. Press your heels back, send the heart forward, glide the shoulder blades down the back just a touch, and then think of your hips moving towards your chin. Hold here for 3. For 2, try to get any arch out of the low back. So really hug your abs up and in. Good, last breath. Press back into a downward facing dog. So your version of a down dog, you can take the feet hip width apart or wider. Just begin to pedal through the legs. Now's the moment to really slow down and connect with your breath. So think about extending that inhale for a count of 3, sending the breath up and into the low back. And exhaling for a count of 3, maybe giving the low back a little massage as you draw the abs in at the end of that exhale. So even just in this down dog, you're visualizing breath filling up your low back on the in-breath and on the out-breath. Gentle massage for the low spine as you squeeze maybe the pelvic floor, pull the abs up and in. Good. Inhale forward to a plank pose. Exhale, drop the knees. Sit back, just pressing your seat to your heels for a moment with the toes curled under. Just feel a gentle little toe stretch here. You can maybe move the seat from side to side. Just feeling through the fascia, that thick interconnective tissue in the soles of the feet. Good, and then let your next in-breath take you into an up cat. So open the chest, take the shoulder heads back, broaden across your collarbones, keeping all 10 knuckles connected with the floor. And then exhale really deeply, round. Pull the navel into the spine, let the crown of the head release. A few more like that, inhaling, opening through the heart. Exhale, really deeply round the spine. It's almost like someone punched you in the belly, and think of your tailbone lengthening to the space between your knees. It's your own breath now. Nice, and then come into a neutral spine. So spine is parallel to the floor in this tabletop position. Make sure those shoulders are really over the wrists, hips over the knees. Zipper your abs up and in so you feel your abs kiss up towards the ceiling. Crown of head lengthens forward, tailbone lengthens back. Extend the right leg back in space. Press through that heel for a moment. And then from the inner right thigh, lift the right leg. Good. From here, option to lift the left arm. So I never love this exercise, to be honest, but it is so good for the low back. We're strengthening the abs, the low back. Keep hugging the navel up and in. See if you can corkscrew your back leg down in space so the pinky toe of that back right leg rotates towards the ground. And then draw your abs up and in even more. We're here for 3. Maybe feel the low back warming. 2. Last 1. Exhale, let both those limbs come down. Widen the knees, sink back into a child's pose. Deep breath into the low back. Exhaling completely. Coming back up into all fours. Finding that long neutral spine once again, so that vertebral column is a nice long pillar parallel to the floor ceiling. Curl the left toes under, straighten the left leg. And then from the inner left thigh, lift the leg. Heel shoots right back, and then reach the right arm forward as well. Hug the shoulder blades together on the back. Zipper the abs in, close the front ribs, and then spiral that back left pinky toe a little more towards the floor so you have this inner spiral of the back leg. Use that to corkscrew and turn your abs on more. So draw your abs in, and then we're just a static hold here. Feel your low back warming, your abs engaging. For 3, for 2, last one. Exhale, both limbs come down to the floor. Press back into your child's pose once again. Taking a deep breath in and out. Just take a moment to notice your heart rate here. Take the hands in front of you. You're gonna slither into a little cobra pose, lying down on your belly. So first, just a little simple back bend, fingertips right in line with the shoulders. Click all 10 toenails into the mat. Feel the knees lift off the mat. Hips press down, little cobra. Opening through the chest. 3 breaths here. Good, and now maybe come down just a touch. Lengthen the tailbone down and back towards the heels, just like we've been practicing this whole time. Lift the arms off the ground. See if you can feel the low back begin to warm. That's what we want. For 3, for 2, last one. Good. Take the forehead down to rest on the palms. Deep breath in. And out. Once more, huge breath in. And out. Good. Keep the body in this position. Just take both hands to your low back. Rest the right palm on top of the left, or vice versa, it really doesn't matter. And let the forehead rest to the ground. On your inhale, you're going to reach that left arm forward, like you wanted to reach towards the top of the mat. So you can look at me for this first one. Inhale, reach forward with that left hand. And then exhale, left hand comes palm face up towards the ceiling, back onto your low back. And then inhale, slide the heart forward, reach the right arm forward. And then right hand comes back onto the low back, palm face up. And when we talk about our affirmation, keep going, this grace wins the race, it means we're challenging ourselves to move slowly. We're humbling ourselves in the moment, maybe doing something that's a little harder. Not a snapping back, a vindictive comment, or not pushing forward our agenda right away. We're just staying graceful, really staying present. Good, a few more on your own. So really challenge yourself to go slow, alternating side by side. Keep the toenails pressing into the mat, hips pressing into the mat. Hopefully feeling that low back strengthen, warm, and turn on. Let's do 2 more on each side. Keep the legs engaged and active. So that means your kneecaps are off the floor. A lot of energy in the legs. Last one each side. Good. Hands underneath the shoulders. Press back into a well-deserved child's pose. Notice how the low back feels. See if you can sense those muscles. We don't tap into them that frequently. Of the low back, maybe heated up here. And then rock the hips from side to side. Good. Walk the hands and the fingers forward. Rock forward to all fours. Press back into downward facing dog. Pedal through the legs. Take any movements you need. Bring your attention to your low back. Notice how it feels. And if it feels like a teeny tiny bit tweaked, obviously we don't want any big pain, but if it feels like a little different, that's because you worked and isolated and activated those muscles. And we'll stretch them out after one more exercise. So walk the feet towards the hands. Good. Let's just allow ourselves to dangle, so feet hip width apart. Clasp opposite elbows and just fold. Chin into chest. Maybe sway side to side. Good. And then take the hands to the backs of the calves. Inhale, lengthen the spine, coming into your version of a flat back. So maybe your hands want to press into the front of the thighs now. Draw your abdominal muscles up and in. So ask your abs to come up and in and kiss towards your rib cage almost. Now take your right hand to the crown of your head. Press into the crown of your head, the very tippy top of your head, and then rebound, press the top of the head into the right hand, and see if you can get longer behind your heart, in those vertebrae just behind the heart. Good. And then breathe here, one more big inhale. Maybe again feeling like those low back muscles are warming. Maybe feel the hips hug in towards one another. Get a little longer still, press the head into the hand, and now exhale, fold. Good. Once again, you can sway side to side or anything that feels good. Let's do that again. So inhale, hands come to the backs of the calves, or maybe you want to press into the shins. Get long. So this is really detailed focus on our half lift. Draw the crown of the head forward, dip the chin, pull the abs in so they kiss towards the rib cage, and then maybe once again take that right hand to the head, really press the head into the hand so you feel that length through the back of the heart. You should go 2 or 3 inches longer in the space between your shoulder blades. And then if this is a lot and you really feel this in your low back, again, core should be working and engaged, just stay here. Otherwise, reach the arms forward here as well. Knees can be bent. It's actually better if the knees are bent, so let's all bend the knees. Good. You're in this flat back position. Now cactus, elbow your arms back, just like you were sliding your hands back on a table. It's like your whole upper body is just resting on a big white desk or table, and then reach both arms forward to straighten the arms. Let's do that 3 more times. Knees are bent, elbows are level. Slowly straightening. Again, the low back shouldn't feel like it's hurting, but it should feel warm. Those low back muscles are holding you here. Good. Let's do one more just for good measure. Breathe in, take the elbows back, and reach them forward. And now take the hands to the back of the legs, press into the back of the thighs now. I want you to try to come up through a flat back. So Straighten the legs. I'm like panting. Slowly rise up to stand, keeping everything in one straight line. Deep breath in at the top. And deep breath out. And just notice how you feel. 2 breaths, standing Tadasana. Notice how the low back feels. Once again, maybe observing that you've been able to create some heat, even though we've just been moving in very small, precise ways. All right, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend the knees. See if you can fold forward, hitting that same shape. So belly button draws in, abs kiss up towards the rib cage, knees bend. Find this really long, flat back. Maybe arms reach forward. And then exhale, fold, keeping the knees bent this whole time. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, widen the feet now. So they're as wide as the mat, if not wider. Maybe heels on the mat, toes on the floor or wood in your house. And then just bend the knees deeply. We're coming into a yogi squat. So if you need to stay up here, you're more comfortable up here, that's fine. If you can come into a full squat, go for it. If your heels leave the ground, that's totally fine. That'll change over time. And you can always roll up your mat or put like cushions under the heels if they're popped up. Wherever you are, just take a few deep breaths. And allow the low back now to totally release. So just letting those muscles we worked sink down towards the floor. Your breath is a very powerful tool here. So inhale, visualize. Again, I almost think of the square of my low back, or you can think of it as an upside down inverted triangle, that sacrum area. But I really like to think of it all the way up, kind of towards where my low ribs start. So it's like a big square area. Think of filling that square area with breath, almost just like you'd put gas into a gas tank. And then exhale completely. 2 more. Huge breaths. Exhaling, dissipating any tension. Last time. Good. And then just transitioning to seated on the floor. So you can walk your hands back and sit back, or if you want to come forward onto all fours and then meet us, that's fine. We're just going to extend the legs out in front of us. And for our yin finish, we're just going to let the legs become like dead fish. Feet like dead fish. If you're noticing that your low back is rounded in this position, so you're kind of back here, I want you to use a bolster or a pillow. Sit up on that prop. So grab it, sit up on it. Couch cushions from your couch or pillows from your bed work great here, so that you have this extra elevation. And then try to sit a little bit forward on your sits bone. So we don't want to be sitting in this rounded shape when we're on the floor ever. Not in life or in yoga. So propping yourself up if needed. Inhale. And then exhale with the elbows bent and the legs just like dead fish. We're going to fold forward. Allow the chin to come into the chest. So that's the primary movement you want to focus on here, is just the head getting heavy like a bowling ball and the chin dropping in towards the chest. From here, with your eyes closed, do a body scan. Notice your shoulders first. See if there's any tension in the shoulders and see if you can dissipate that tension with your breathing. If the shoulders are hiked up by the ears, maybe slide them down the back and think of the shoulders dropping off towards the left and right of the body, sort of like they were just sliding apart. And then body scan into the hips, relax the low back, let the sits bones ground down. And the legs and the soles of feet, release any tension in the calves, the heels. So we're just channeling a Raggedy Ann doll or lifeless stuffed animal here. We're just completely rounded, completely folded forward. No strength, no effort, no reaching for the feet, just thinking of every limb of the body getting as heavy as possible with a particular focus on the head. Really take the chin into the chest. And students tell me that they feel this yin stretch in all kinds of different places. So you might feel it in the neck, or between the shoulder blades. You really can feel it along any part of the spine where that myofascial back line of the body, that interconnective tissue that runs up and down your vertebral column, especially those erector spinae muscles. Anywhere those muscles or the interconnective tissue that surrounds them is tight. So sometimes it's tight through the whole chain, but you're going to maybe feel it in your neck first. And as you come back to this class, you'll feel it perhaps in different parts of the spine and on different days. And eventually you will feel it in your low back if you keep practicing. Just let gravity be your friend. Know that wherever you're feeling a stretch is the perfect place for today. And I'll be quiet as we stay here another 2-3 minutes or so. Just drop in. Really gently begin to deepen the breath. Take a few minutes to come out of this. So if you want to explore rocking a little left or right on the sits bones, maybe getting into the left side or right side of the low back specifically, you're more than welcome to do that. Just keep the movements really subtle. And then you'll turn the palms face down. Really gently, gently begin to walk the hands towards the hips, slowly, slowly stacking one vertebra on the other. Head is last thing to come up. Good. And as just a little counter pose, take the soles of feet underneath the knees. Fingertips are forward towards the heels. Inhale, lift the hips up. And you can let the head fall back if that feels safe, or just look down the center line of the body. Draw the shoulders together and back. Press down through the knuckles and get the hips a little higher for 3, for 2, and last one. Good. Take the hips back down to the floor. Extend one leg and then the other. One elbow down and then the other. Setting up for your Shavasana. Particularly for today's emphasis, I'd really love if you had that bolster or couch cushions available to put that underneath your knees for Shavasana. Because if you have any low back issues, having a bolster underneath the knees really helps relieve tension from the low back when you come into this supine position. You can take one hand to heart, one hand to belly. You can kind of nestle the shoulder blades underneath you by pressing the elbows down into the floor and drawing the shoulders together. Just fidget so you can get truly comfortable. And we'll rest here for a full 3 minutes. If the low back is tweaking or feels uncomfortable, just take the soles of the feet back to the floor or onto the pillow or bolster and let the knees dip in to touch one another. Wherever you are, begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Of course, if you have more time, please stay in Shavasana. Otherwise, draw one knee into the chest and then the other, giving yourself a squeeze. And especially after the work with the low back today, I want you to squeeze the knees into the chest. And then bring the heels a little bit apart from one another so your legs are really making the number 11. They're parallel instead of heels or toes touching. And then give yourself a gentle squeeze again. Good. Take the knees in some teeny tiny circles, like I can barely see that you're moving, level circles. Giving the low back a little massage. Other direction. And then roll over to your right side. You can use your right forearm as a pillow, left hand to the mat. Just take a deep breath here, especially for today. Extra breath here. A lot of times, whether we're just sitting up quickly or pressing ourselves up or coming up from Shavasana, it's always an opportunity to tweak the low back in a way that's not needed. So really press your hand that's on the floor into the ground now and really use your arms to press you up to a comfortable seat. Bring the hands to prayer in front of your heart, just giving thanks for the attention and care that you want to give this area of the body, this often overlooked area of the body, for your willingness to slow down, for your hard work, and to remember that grace really does win the race, right? This is work that we do for the long game, the long haul, our long-term health and longevity. Take a deep breath in, just sealing in your practice. Exhale completely. Last time, breathing in all the way. Exhaling, nose or mouth. You can bring your thumbs to your third eye, and if you like, gently bow forward.